Show for today. You've probably noticed that we've been joined by two individuals, Reverend Neil Perkins and Mr. Sean Holmes, two individuals who came with Ms. Greenlee as part of the individuals dealing with the streets of Nashville. And Pastor Neil Perkins, let's have you to give us some information about your background, education, and etc. And Sean can give us the same kind of information, and then we'll get into some of the things that you're involved in.
All right, well, I'm the pastor of Total Praise Baptist Church in South Nashville, 101 Lewis Street. I've been pastoring now for 10 years, and my work in the community is to outreach the youth in South Nashville and help bring back families that's been destroyed by drugs and alcohol, and that's our work, and help them to get saved and to introduce them to Christ.
Very good. And of course, Mr. Holmes?
I've basically been here in Nashville maybe about 15 years, attended the metropolitan schools, Gavin High School. I am the founder and CEO of an organization called Looking Absolutely Clean, where we basically get out and mentor and fellowship with the community and also the kids that's in it. Basically been doing it for about 7 years now.
Okay, well, I tell you, see, now we've got about 6 minutes, and let's have you, Pastor Perkins, to look at what you consider to be some of the most important issues that you have to deal with, and then we'll let Mr. Holmes do the same thing. But that's what I want to do, to look at, give you about 2 or 3 minutes to highlight some of the things that you feel to be important in terms of what you're doing.
Well, one of the most important things now for our youth in the South Nashville area, there's a lot of violence, street violence that's going on, and a lot of stream from the parents are not focusing on their kids and youth in this day and time. So we formed a church right there in the heart of the inner city to help to bring in some of the youth, to get them, to introduce them to Christ and get a new life, new start in life that would probably give them a better outlook on life and something better to do other than drugs and alcohol and guns and gangs.
Well, what can the individuals that are watching us this morning, Pastor, do to assist you in what you're doing?
Well, what they could do to assist me in what I'm doing is to help us in the South Nashville area, not only South Nashville, but in all areas of Nashville, to join together, try to stop some of this violence that's going on. Come up with some kind of programs that we could work out for our youth, like we used to have back in the 70s, which was a CEDAR program that we formed jobs that would help the youth to work during the summertime when they're out of school.
And of course, Mr. Holmes, I would imagine, excuse me, I would imagine you would agree with that, but your program, Absolutely Clean, that sort of deals with the issue that we have with substance abuse and et cetera. But what should our audience do in order to assist you in what you're doing?
Not only deal with that, but it touches on the fact, it tells the kids pretty much is, don't worry about your appearance and what people think of you. We want you to live your life looking absolutely clean, free of drugs, free of violence, free of abuse. So this program that we started to take off into ways that we never would imagine. We do a lot of programs, such as we do back to school events, we do gospel shows, we do whatever we can to get the kids involved, just to get them away from some of the activities they see in the neighborhood. Our kids are faced with violence 365 days out of the year, and we basically want to take them from that, just give them one day or opportunity just to get away from that. We'll probably free their mind.
Well, Pastor, what about giving these young people some kind of jobs or some kind of opportunity?
Right.
Speak to that. Do you think that that would be very, very helpful?
That would be very.
If all of them had some kind of job to go to, do you think that that would help?
That would give them a great responsibility, because in my youth we had the CEDAR program, and once during our time when we was out for the summer, we could work for a couple of months, and that gave us something to do each and every day. And so I think that we could create some jobs for our youth, the ones that want to work and have something to give them responsibility, and that would help a lot.
And of course, Mr. Holmes, you would also agree that given these young people, do you believe that that would be cost effective if somehow we could get some money together to pay these individuals, these young people? Do you think that that would be cost effective?
100%. You know, our programs has based that we used to have for this, such as which was co-op, which was a program that the high school seniors used to attend to. Basically, you skipped a little 5th or 6th period class, and the next thing you know, you go to a job afterwards. Our programs has been cut in half for our youth. So we have to start finding ways, since our kids want to make money, we got to start finding ways on how to employ them so we can give them money.
In other words, the problems that we might be having with substance abuse might be mitigated in a real sense if the person had an opportunity to go out to a job instead of standing on the corner and trying
That's
to. Do you believe that to be true, Mr. Holmes?
I do, but still, our kids still could take the money that they are earning, but it be honest money, and still take it and do something else with it. But we want these kids to understand that the dollars that they're making, they should appreciate it and use it towards something more wisely.
And so you're reaching out within the South Nashville community, and you're getting some good response. Is that?
Yes, I've teamed up with an organization called Youth for Christ. The president and director of that program is Brother Ron Shepard, and he's helping form a lot of churches together in different communities, and we go out and we try to help bring people in and introduce them to Christ. And then we also help to try to help their families out, assist them in Christmas time and during the holidays when they're struggling and stuff. We try to help provide stuff for the youth, for their children, and for the families, and food and toys for the kids, and clothes and shoes, all of that.
Now, what have some of the responses been to your efforts to bring more young people into your program, Mr. Holmes?
Overwhelming. We basically start these programs with just 100 kids coming out. Each year this number started to grow. We've seen one year where we had 300 kids, and one event we had 400. So the parents they want it, but we need the kids to also want it as well, and let them know that we're not doing this just basically to make you happy. We're doing it because we believe in your future.
And anytime you could get 400 young people together doing almost anything that's constructive, it's cost effective. Would you say that?
It is.
If they could be doing something else instead of doing what they are generally doing now, it would certainly help financially everywhere, the police department and the whole thing. Would that be a good statement in reference to?
Yes, and we have the Metropolitan Police that come out to our event. One of the events that's coming up here soon. We have quite a bit of the help and personnel from Metropolitan Police Department that will be in attendance.
And of course, we're getting ready for the last half minute of this show, this segment here, but I just want to thank the two of you, and I think that somehow we've got some ideas in terms of some of the needs that you have, and perhaps people watching this particular show might be able to join with you, and further, we might be able to deal with this as an issue. And of course, let me encourage our audience to stay tuned for this next segment, in which we will have another guest from the streets. We'll be back with you following this very, very short commercial break.